Beautiful people, welcome back to Uncle Lou's Kitchen. Today, I'm going to be teaching you the secrets of making vegan blue cheese. This recipe is courtesy of Sophie's vegan cheese course, which I recently completed. Guys, I highly recommend you do this. She's got blue cheese, camembert, smoked cheeses, all incredible, 100% plant-based. And I've been very fortunate that she's allowed me to present to you the best vegan blue cheese. Patience is the key here, because it takes time to ferment and build that beautiful rind you see on the outside. Fortunately, I'm going to be revealing all those little secrets to you today. Let's go. Starting off with the equipment, you're going to need these little measuring spoon sets. You're going to want 3/4 of a teaspoon and 1/16 of a teaspoon. You can get them on Amazon quite easily. Now you're going to want a cheese mat, the size of 3 fist-sized balls of cheese, I'd say. A large box with a lid, don't mind the state of them, they've just come out the wash. 2 cheesecloths, 1 large, 1 small, and a blender. Now for the all-important ingredients, bear in mind, you're going to hear of some things that you've never heard of before. Everything can be readily found on Amazon. You're going to want 300 grams of cashews, 1 cup of water, half a cup of coconut milk. Now, Penicillium Roquefort. If you don't want to buy the powder, you can use a very old bit of moldy bread. Don't panic, it's all good. That's what's going to kickstart the mold process in the cheese. We're going in with 2 teaspoons of salt. Now, transglutaminase. You want 3/4 of a teaspoon of that diluted in water. Here's the ratio for diluting it. Don't be worried if you see that this is marketed as meat glue. It's vegan friendly. Next, mesophilic culture, 1/16 of a teaspoon, which is the tiny one. Now, this all sounds like a lot, but it's only 7 ingredients all in all. Now, very important, we need to sterilize everything to avoid cross-contamination. So we're going to start off with the cashews. I'm rinsing those in boiling water, and I'm going to set them aside to cool down. Now, with our little moldy friend here, we're going to pour a tiny bit of water, just enough to cover it. And we're going to set it aside, and we want it to break down. Feel free to give it a prod to help it break, because we're going to need that water later on. Now, into the blender, I'm adding the cashews, the water, the coconut milk, the salt, and as you can see, the liquid from the moldy bread. Feel free to break it down, it won't do it any harm. That's going to go in there. And our starter culture, that's the very small teaspoon, as you can see, that's the 1/16. And for our transglutaminase, we're going in with 3/4 of a teaspoon. Now this step's important. You're going to blend it, but not for too long. You're going to give it little bursts, you're going to scrape it down, and you're going to keep going, because some blenders have a tendency to heat, and we don't want to kill off any of the cultures. You'll know when this is ready when you can touch it and it's no longer grainy. If it feels grainy, give it a few more pulses till it comes out creamy. Now we're going to pour that into a sterilized mixing bowl. Again, sterilize everything. A little bit of boiling water goes a long way. And we're going to set that aside for 4 hours at room temperature. By this time, it should have stiffened up. You should be able to wiggle it and jiggle it about, and you'll see it's not going anywhere. Now, with the container that's going to hold the cheese in, which we're going to sterilize, I'm just adding in there the larger of the cheesecloths, which I'm going to sterilize too. Give it a squeeze out with clean hands. Okay, I'm going to lay that flat in there, and we're going to pour on our cheese mixture. The purpose of having this in a large box is because the mold is literally going to grow on the exposed area. So you want as much of it exposed as possible. I'm going to flatten that out. And to protect it from any bacteria, I'm going to sprinkle some salt on. Now, this isn't always perfect, but it does a good job. Next, I'm going to place a damp cloth on that, and I'm going to refrigerate that for at least 14 days. Now, if you don't have a fridge thermometer, you're going to do this, you may as well invest in one. They're really cheap. Just get one of those small ones. And that is the ideal temperature for the rind to grow perfectly. Now, after 2 weeks, this is what it should look like. So we've got some nice blue mold growing on there. Now you're going to notice some bald patches on there. So this is what I was talking about when it comes to the contamination side. You may see some black spots growing throughout the period. Now that's not good. So what you want to do is pour boiling water on a knife, remove the black mold, and sprinkle some salt on the patch where it was contaminated. Honestly guys, you're doing this at home. You know, this isn't a controlled environment like the professionals, but it will come out fine. Don't let it put you off. Okay? Now at this stage, I'm going to break that into chunks. And I'm going to take a little mold. You can use a little tub, a cup, and with the small cheesecloth, which I mentioned earlier, I'm just going to start piling in some chunks, and this is going to give me a rough idea of how much I need to put to get my desired shape. So we're looking at about the size of half a cup. The total amount based on the ingredients that have been provided here should leave you with about 3 nice balls of cheese. Now you want to make sure that the rind is incorporated on the inside, because that's what's going to give this the veins and make it look really pretty when you slice it open. It's okay to get some on top as well. In fact, I believe that it actually helps in the whole process anyway. Okay, now that I've got my shape, I'm going to manually shape it myself. So I'm laying that on the cheese mat, on the lid of the box. Okay, I'm going to sprinkle some salt all over them. Turn it around, sprinkle more salt, make sure that's nice and covered, and I'm going to put a lid on this. Now, I'm going to refrigerate that again for about 2 weeks or so, but checking in from time to time because you're going to want to dry out the box in case some dew builds up in there. And here you go, folks. After about 1 month, you should end up with something like this. Now, the cheese looks dark. It's a little trick for the camera. It will come out looking like this in the beginning. So to make it look dark, just dab it with a wet tissue, and after about 5 minutes, it will look like that. It just makes it look really impressive when you're serving it up. As you can see, the magic moment. When you slice it open, you've got those beautiful veins in there. Now, the longer you leave this, the longer it's going to ferment. The outer rind may be super strong, so feel free to cut around that and serve it without. But overall, guys, this is honestly so good. Really impressive. And I'm so glad I did this course. Genuinely. This is not a paid promotion. This is genuinely through love and sheer excitement at making this, because I was always curious about how this all works. Anyway, guys, check out Sophie. I'm going to put her course in the description so you can check out the cheeses for yourself. Alrighty. Ciao for now. I love you all. See you on the next one. And subscribe if you like vegan recipes from all around the world.